Well, let's welcome Fox Business's very own Jerry Willis to the panel. Jerry, welcome to the show. Love you in that color. Oh, but you look great in all the Easter colors. Also, Fox News contributor, retired Marine Corps Gunnery Sergeant Jessie Duff joins us as well. We'll move on to defense because this is a key area. Now, with North Korea already with nuclear weapons and working on rockets that can travel further and further, Iran probably on its way to a nuclear warhead. It would seem a no-brainer, but I got to tell you, there's a special arm of the Pentagon that works on this kind of stuff, and they're under huge pressure. We're talking about the Missile Defense Agency that Jessie just mentioned. They've got a $5 billion annual budget, 8,700 employees, and yet a string of unmitigated disasters. In fact, the latest is what they call the Sea-Based X-band radar, or SBX, is being touted as, listen, they said this thing could spot a baseball over San Francisco from across the country. The problem is, though, apparently it can't spot a missile. Now, at $2.2 billion, it's a floating radar system that's a complete flop. By the way, it's not the only one. There's a $5.3 billion airborne laser. How about the Kinetic Energy Interceptor? Great name, don't know what it does. Now, the nation obviously is broke, but at the same time, we defend ourselves. Our enemies are growing. They're becoming more sophisticated, more dangerous. The idea of the big question is, how do we reconcile this when we're saying we want to cut back on Social Security and other programs, but defense never want to cut back? Jessie, I'll go to you quick because one general said this SBX would have worked if we'd have threw another $2 billion at it.
Well, I find that very insulting because MDA was supposed to have, Missile Defense Agency was supposed to have this project completed by 2005. So President Obama actually has nothing to do with their mismanagement. This is what happened. President Bush had delegated in 2002 that we need a strong missile defense program. MDA jumped on it and started going with unproven concepts that were very exotic and pushed them down the throats of Congress. Meanwhile, Congress kept pushing these programs that were proving to fail because it was subsidizing their constituents back at home. Right. So it's basically a flop, $10 billion between all four of these.
Steve, you've got a big election in your hometown. You know, we talk about politicians throwing money around, and while we always get outraged when it's not our politician, we do find a way to reward those who bring home the bacon. What do you make of it all?
Well, look, toward defense, I think this is important. We conservatives, because we so admire the military, and quite properly so, sometimes we almost forget that even the military is still government, and it's massive government right now. The United States spends as much on the military as nearly the rest of the world combined. Now, I don't think any rational person can say that there's not a ton of cronyism, that there's not an enormous bloated bureaucracy in there. So can we still be safe and secure and effective without spending that kind of money? I argue yes. And I think that, by the way, the cronyism has rewarded those stocks like Lockheed Martin that have gone just bananas to the upside so far. But I think there's a lot of waste there, and I think within conservatism there is a growing movement that even the Pentagon budget. Look, a strong nation is not a broke nation. Okay, so you're not pro-defense or pro-national security by making us more broke.
We got you on that.